Happy to hear that. All right. If I've never met you before, Mr. Kane, I know probably roughly about half of you. The rest of you I kind of recognize at least a little bit, so that's good. Couple things here, what's going on for this week, and usually as you come in, I'll have this up here on the board that kind of lets you know what's going on. So, like for example, tomorrow when you come in, it'll say grab some lined sheet of paper. We're going to start some notes on introduction to rhetoric, which we'll be spending a couple days going over, and then I always give you some reminders as to things to kind of keep an eye on. This week's a little bit hectic, a little bit busy just because of being the first week. So for Friday, you actually have quite a few things going on. This wouldn't be the norm that you would have 4 things happening on Friday, 2 of which are pretty simple. And I'll show you this here in a second, but on Google Classroom, and some of you have already signed up for it. All of you have been invited for Google Classroom. So if you go to your student Gmail, there should be an invite link from me, or if you go directly to Google Classroom, I think the class should already be showing up there for you, where you would be able to accept an invite. By Friday, and this would be by Friday evening, but I would try to do it by Friday class, so that if you're having any problems, you can let me know. By Friday, I want you to go into Google Classroom, just like accept your invitation, and then there is a survey for you that I'll show you that I want you to fill out. If I've had you all year so far, you've already filled out the survey, but Ben, do it again anyway. Who knows if some earth-shattering things have happened since the beginning of the year. Your email address has been updated or something along those lines. So student survey, it should take you like 5 minutes to fill out. There's a syllabus signature, which is the last sheet of your course syllabus. You're going to rip that off and give it to me by Friday. If you want to bring it in tomorrow or on Thursday, you certainly can. But those 2 things that you do should be pretty simple. You're getting credit for doing a survey. You're getting credit for bringing in a syllabus signature. So those 2 things shouldn't be too difficult for you. You do have a reading check quiz on Friday. The reading check quiz is for the packet that has the lottery at the top. Within the packet, there are 2 different reading selections. You have the lottery, which starts on page 1, goes to, I believe, page 9. Oh, I'm sorry, page 6. It's 10 pages total. Page 6 is going to be the lottery. And then on page 7, you'll see that there's another selection by William Buckley that says, Why Don't We Complain? The lottery is a short story. It's possible that some of you might have already read the lottery before. Lottery is a short story. The second one, Why Don't We Complain, is an article. So it's nonfiction article, person asking, Why don't we complain? Which is a dangerous thing to give to high school students because then you sometimes start complaining about things. Lottery short story written in 1940s. It's a little weird, so if you've had me before as an English teacher, you'll go, that fits perfectly with what I know of Mr. Kane. If you haven't had me before, it's a weird story. It fits perfectly with me. And then the article will follow. The reading check quiz on Friday, it's all multiple choice. There'll be 10 questions. First 5 will be about the short story. The second 5 will be about the article that comes after. It's not meant to be mind-numbing. It's not going to be an essay or anything like that. It should be, for the most part, be pretty straightforward, direct questions about it. It'll be in chronological order, so it's not going to be bouncing around from page to page. But first 5 will be about the lottery short story. Second 5 will be about the article. I would say for roughly the first 5 or 6 weeks of the course, you're going to pretty much have weekly quizzes usually on Friday. It's not always about reading assignments. You have reading assignment this week. You have a short reading assignment next week. Sometimes it could be about note stuff that's going to be going on. But the first 5, 6 weeks or so, pretty much going to have a weekly quiz. Semester course, obviously, since it's the beginning of the second semester, it doesn't really get interesting until about week 8 or 9. I'm letting you know right now. So the first, and the reason for it is it's really like a year-long class. It's squished into a semester. So the first 6, 7, maybe 8 weeks, it's a lot of notes, it's a lot of material, going over terms, quizzes, all that kind of stuff. The more active participation stuff happens second half of the semester. So if after 4 weeks you're looking at me like you're bored, I'm going to go, I told you so. But we'll usually pick on probably Ben more so to keep things interesting.
Can't wait.
I'll be sick of looking at you, Sally, within a couple of weeks. He's in here 3 times. You're in here 3 times.
3 times, man.
Yeah, that's not 3 times.
Yeah,
It's not gonna be tired.
that's 1/3 of my day. That's a lot.
Hopefully I can use that sort of after the same. That would be scary. All right, few things here. Weekly syllabus that I gave to you. I generally come up with a weekly syllabus, hence the name weekly syllabus. I don't usually give them to you though at the beginning of every week. First week, I print out everyone a copy. Starting next week, I'll post it in the Google Classroom. I'll also send out a remind copy of it, a digital copy via remind tool. I'll show you the class code here in a second. So first one I just kind of give you for your notebook and things like that. I found out over the years, if I print out everyone a copy of one, generally I kind of find more just on the floor or left on desk than I think actually goes into notebooks. If you absolutely need a printed out copy, like you can't live without it, let me know and I can give you one. But for the most part, you'll just be getting digital copies via remind that you can check with your planner, or I'll have them posted to Google Classroom. But at the beginning of the week, and I would usually send it out to you on a Sunday, and we always have technical issues because why wouldn't we? But beginning of the week, I'll always send it out to you just so you're limited, since we only have 4 days. All introduction of the course. Tomorrow and Thursday is when we'll get more into things that are going to pertain to the course, where we'll do an introduction to rhetoric. So you'll be doing some line paper notes on Wednesday and Thursday. And then Friday, I don't think we'll have to finish up anything with the intro to rhetoric notes, but we'll spend some time kind of talking about the lottery and these 2 articles that we have coming up. You have a 3-day weekend for this week because you don't have school on Monday. You shouldn't really have any weekend homework assignments that you have to worry about. And then when we come in next week, we'll kind of pick up with some more introductory stuff. The goal is, and I think we'll fit it in. We might not. Next week being a short week, condensed week. Plan is next week all of you will be up here speaking at some point, debating with one another. So it's a CHS argumentation class, and today we'll kind of talk about what that entails. Part of being in CHS argumentation is arguing. To an extent in front of the class. You're not going to be discussing government shutdowns, healthcare reform, all of that stuff this week or next week. Depending how long some of those things continue to drag on, maybe we'll end up talking about it. But for what you're going to be doing next week, there wouldn't be any kind of preparation that you would have to worry about. There isn't really going to be a whole lot of pressure so far as how are you going to perform. At most, you'll be speaking for 90 seconds. So it's not going to be an elongated presentation. Some of you will be partaking in the age-old debates of, which is better, shampoo or conditioner, hot dogs or hamburgers. So
shampoo or conditioner is the stuff,
we'll just wait and find out. I knew it was risky to mention something now because you would start asking questions. If you want to include taste along with fragrance, be my guest. But it'll be very informal kind of debate stuff that's going to be happening. As we progress throughout the course of the year, obviously those things will become a little bit more formal. If you are skittish about getting in front of people and speaking, then you should stay in the class. That's not a reason to go see the counselor and drop it. If speaking in front of people, whether it be just a couple folks, a large group, interacting with folks, partaking in the debate, if that's something that makes you kind of nervous, and all of you are juniors or seniors, then that's something that we kind of have to conquer and work with. I don't expect that everyone's going to feel comfortable at all times. I don't expect that everyone should be terrified when you be coming up, but I think you do need to kind of deal with that uncomfortable feeling of folks are looking at me and speaking because you're going to be doing more of that as the years go by. So, if that is a major concern, you can certainly talk to me, but I don't expect anyone running down to see the counselor to drop the class because Mr. King said we're going to be talking in front of folks. You're going to be talking in front of folks. What the class is not, it's not argument in the sense of free-for-all. It's not coming in today, hey, can we start arguing about this idea? No. What it is it's a CHS class through University of Pittsburgh. Pitt calls it communication and rhetoric. We call it argumentation. But basically, it's a communication, rhetoric, logic, reasoning kind of class. So it's something where topics get discussed, topics get debated. You want people to counterpoint your opinion, so that gives you the opportunity to defend yourself and gives you the opportunity, to do rebuttals and counterpoint their arguments. I want to make you more aware of the arguments that you construct, both in the things that you do well and in the things that might not necessarily be prudent for you to do when you are discussing things with teachers, coworkers, peers, parents, future advisors of colleges, and all that kind of stuff. The hope, the way that Pitt kind of has it set up for debate, the purpose of the debate is education for the public. So if we have Nick and Aiden debating something in front of us, it's not so that we can declare one a winner and give them the heavyweight championship belt, or in your case, the featherweight championship belt. But it would be more that we learn something, we're able to determine an opinion about something that we were previously really kind of unaware of. Right? So if you have dreams of coming in and squashing your opponents and yelling at them all the time, that would be a reason to go see your counselor and withdraw from the class, because that's not really what's going to happen. Will you be able to possibly squash them in some ways? Yes, but it's not going to be a daily thing where you're going to be proving your argumentation superiority by yelling and screaming at people at the highest possible volumes. For some of you, that's a disappointment. Any general questions? We're about to go over a whole bunch of specific stuff, but any general questions about the course?
Yeah, like
Most of which I'll probably say I'll get to that. But.
So what kind of things are we going to be debating if not with like politics?
No, I don't want to say, like, we certainly will probably be debating some things with politics and whatnot. Sometimes you'll get the opportunity to choose exactly, resolutions and things that you want to debate. Sometimes I'll kind of gear you a little bit. I start off with very informal things next week because I'm not really worried about you proving what you know about House of Representatives and Senate and all those kinds of things with Congress. I just want to get you guys up here talking and coming up with some framework of debate. University of Pittsburgh, CHS class, there are some Pitt guidelines. Whether you sign up for the CHS credit, there are some guidelines that we have to follow. One of the resolutions that we do have to take a look at, I'm paraphrasing it, is that high schools properly empower students to control their future. So we'll definitely be looking at some things as it pertains to school education, although politics could creep into that. That's one aspect that we'll look at. That's not the one sole thing that we're going to do. The unit or the event that probably gets the most hype would be Student Congress. When you folks come up with bills that you're creating a new law or there's something that you want to take away, that can obviously get very political depending upon the bills that we go with. More often than not, we just try to kind of keep it with what are current events. So obviously political election years, we tend to get kind of political with issues. Government shutdown, immigration, I could certainly see that being stuff that we talk about this year. But there's never a unit where, okay, now we are going to be discussing scientific environmental issues, now we're going to be discussing political, and now we're going to be discussing financial education, things. Every year we're required to cover at least one topic by Pitt. Theirs is a little bit more education realm today, but for this year, other than that though, we can kind of go in a lot of different directions. Some I'll choose, or give you can choose from this list. There'll be somewhere, all right, we want to debate, so long as you can find someone that also wants to debate with you. All right, so let's go over your homework assignment real quick for Friday, then we'll jump into course syllabus and kind of get into all that kind of nuts and bolts thing. So this is for Friday that you would be completing. So again, there's 4 things going on Friday. Reading check quiz for Friday. Your reading check quiz on Friday is going to be a total of 10 points. The homework assignment that you are bringing in that we're about to go over, that's going to be 20 points. The syllabus signature that you're going to complete will be 5 points. And then the survey on Google Classroom that you'll complete will be 5 points. So for Friday, you'll have a grand total by the end of the week of 40 points. My hope is that you have a 40 out of 40, 38 out of 40, 36 out of 40, something along those lines. So don't skip out on the homework assignment. If you do 10 out of 10 on the quiz, you take care of your syllabus signature, you take care of your survey, you don't submit the homework, you're at a 20 out of 40, and it's easier to go down than it is to build percentages back up. So do make sure you take care of your homework assignment. Homework assignment really shouldn't be all that bad. There's 2 parts to it, there's 2 sides to it. First part, we're going to be taking a look at kind of like traditions, values. So for this one, you are going to come up with a list, 1 through 5. You can rank, it says to rank them in order. That could be easier said than done for some of us. What are 5 values that you hold near and dear? Could be abstract, could be concrete. So don't write this down, but I'm just, coming up with some things. Some of you will go, I value money more so than anything else. That is the gateway to my future, money. Others will be feeling sentimental, love, honesty, family. There might be religious aspects. There could be, you might put education, school, honesty, trustworthiness, humor. So you could kind of think about things that you want, things that you desire. You could be thinking about traits that you look for within other people. But what are 5 values that you hold kind of near and dear? I want you to find another person, and then they're also going to fill out the list. Person could be in this room. They certainly don't have to be, though. Basically, I want it to be a person. I want it to be real. So I don't want it to be my friend Joe's list. I don't need it to be your stuffed animal that's on your bed at home. I don't need it to be the pet gecko from 2nd grade. But just find a living, breathing person who will also give you a list. Could be someone in here. If you want to be parent, sibling, friend, significant other, whatever the case may be, that's fine. Little siblings and little cousins are always interesting. When you get the viewpoint of like a 5 or a 6-year-old, I would stay away from your 2-year-old nephew who is just putting words together. But if someone ends up going, I think Disney is number 1 on my list, that's certainly fine. That could be number 1 on some of your lists out there. But you're going to come up with your list, then come up with someone else's list, and have them fill it out 1 through 5. Then you're going to run through and just do a little bit of a compare and contrast as to the values. So which values appear on both lists? It's possible that there won't be any that appear on both lists. It's possible that you might have a lot of carryover. If on your list you put honesty and your other person put trustworthiness, you could certainly argue that those are similar enough that you could mention them. Well, what are values that appear on both lists? If there are none, simply put, there are no values that appear on both lists, and move on to the next one. What accounts for the similarities? Again, that's going to kind of vary from person to person. There may be some similarities, there may not be any. You can think about age, gender. If it's a sibling or someone who's grown up in the same household, that could be a reason for why there could be some similarities. Maybe you have similar goals, you participate in the same kind of activities, whatever the case may be. And then you kind of go through and take a look at what were some dissimilarities and what could account for what those things are. So short answer, just give me complete sentences with it as opposed to IDK, meh, dash, check mark. On the back, which is not that, on the back you have a reaction that you are going to write for the short story, The Lottery. Is the lottery morally justified? Is tradition sufficient justification for such actions? How would you respond to cultures that are different from ours that perform strange rituals? Explain your answer. Minimum 10 sentences. If I get a response talking about, I think the lottery is morally justified. If people want to put $20 down with the hopes of winning 4.8 million or $1 billion, I have no problem with that. Anyway, PA Lottery helps out senior citizens of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. If that is Emma's response, I know that she did not respond to the short story, The Lottery. You're not writing about the lottery so far as gambling, money, and things like that. You're going to be responding to the short story, The Lottery. So make sure you read this before you do your 10-sentence response, because this has absolutely zilch to do with Mega Millions, Powerball, daily 3 numbers, daily 4, any of that kind of stuff. So you do give me your justification of the PA Lottery, you would be getting a 0 out of 10 for this one. Looking for 10 sentences. I'm not looking for an essay. So this isn't a thesis statement. It's not an introductory paragraph or anything like that. Just looking for a 10-sentence response. If you want to write it in paragraph form, that's perfectly fine. If you feel better where you want to number your sentences down the margin to make sure that you do your 10 sentences, I'm okay with that as well. Makes no difference. Just know that if you write 7 sentences, there's a pretty good chance you're probably going to get a 7 out of 10, as opposed to, a 10 out of 10. Now, if you write 7 sentences and then your last 3 sentences are, that is my response to the lottery. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. Have a good weekend. You might still be getting me 7 out of 10. Peace. Never a good sentence. So, values on the front side, response on the back.
Do you think we need a binder this last one?
Yeah, I would get a notebook. I don't think you need to get like the 3.5-inch, this is my whole life story kind of binder, but I would get at the very least like maybe an inch and a half binder where you can kind of put stuff in. I hole punch, you probably want to be able to kind of organize, especially so for the first half where a lot of notes, a lot of kind of handouts, that thing. I'm not going to do a notebook check, on Friday or Monday of next week where 5 points, 5 points, 5 points. I think as juniors and seniors, you're responsible enough. If you need like a pocket folder for now, temporary, I got plenty of those. But I think you'll probably want something a little bit more substantial because those things tend to fall apart after 2 weeks. Innocent. Any other questions?
Do we need a notebook?
You are like, you mean like the spiral thing like this? I have line paper back there behind me, so as long as you got a place to put the line paper, you'll be okay. All right. A couple things about the room, since Nick's asking to use pass and all those kinds of things. If you're not familiar with layout of room, I'm here, you're there. Already talked about papers would be picked up for you. Some folks have been in this room for 8 years and can still never locate the pencil sharpener. It's right over there by the door. It's not that hard to find. If you're a visual person, weekly syllabus isn't enough for you. You take a look over on that board. That kind of lets you know what's going on for the week. You knew it was there. Yeah, you did. Ben will ask, what's the date? You can look over there and be able to tell him it's the date. Paper, I always keep line paper back there, so that if you need to grab some, it is there. Pass, I always keep in the back of the room. There's a log book for the pass, so rather than writing your name on the pass and all that stuff, just make sure you fill it out. So Nick, you'll write Nick, today's date, time, box right there, and then if you're headed to the restroom, I'm assuming, which is right over there. Those are the main things. We'll, pretty much I think anything else will kind of cover it as we get there. You can sign up. Course syllabus, main contact information, all that stuff's right up here. You can, if you ever need to shoot me an email, you can either use, I have a student's Gmail account just like you, or the district email. I think the Gmail tends to work better. Number one, my name just pops up in your email when you start to type in Mr. Kane, and you don't have to worry about spam filters and all that kind of stuff. If you haven't been to Google Classroom before, you log in using your student Gmail, and there's the website for you to be able to get access to it anyway. When it comes to CHS, and I know Aiden was kind of starting to ask some questions about this, mentioned to you, we're communication and rhetoric. It's a 3-credit class at University of Pittsburgh. You are not required to sign up for CHS credit. It's entirely optional. I don't care what you do. I don't get a set of steak knives or gift cards based on the number of people who sign up. So it really doesn't impact me one way or the other. If you decide to sign up for it, the cost is $245. You have to be registered through Pitt by March the 1st. Today's only January the 15th, so we have some time. In about a month, I'll start getting information from you. If you've taken CHS classes through Pitt before, CHS chemistry, prob stat, business calc, those things, you register online through a website, and then you have to give a check to me, not made out to me, but you have to hand the check to me that gets turned into to Pitt. But it's $245. if you can swing it, if it's financially feasible for you, it's an excellent deal because you're just looking at a little over $80 a credit. If you know you are going to Pitt, for those of you who are seniors, I would highly recommend doing it. What happens with the CHS class, at least with this one through Pitt, is if you are going to Pitt, you get the grade, you get the credits, and you get the grade. So it's different from AP exam credits, where you could take some AP exam credits to a school, but you're not going to get the grade for it. If Zach ends up getting an A in the class, he has a 4.0, at least with this CHS class, on his Pitt transcript. So you're getting grade along with credits. There is, I guess, a little bit of a gamble. If you get a C minus, then you're also going to Pitt with a 2.0 GPA, which isn't failing or anything, but might not be necessarily what you want. I wouldn't expect too many C minuses. Most folks end up kind of being somewhere, I'd say on average, in that 84 to like 92, 93 kind of range.
This will be my third one. If I'm going there, they'll have all three, and like whatever my grade is on that.
Right.
So
Yes. Yeah. And unlike AP exams, there's not like a cap where we'll only select so many of the credits. For the CHS, if you're going to Pitt, they'll take them because they have a partnership set up with it. If you're not going to Pitt, or you're a junior and you don't know where you're going, there is a reasonable, I can't give you a master list of schools because it does not exist, but there is a reasonable chance that you would be able to transfer the credits. So you might not get the grade with you, but you could apply for a transfer of credit. I say it's reasonable because just about every school in this area, liberal arts based, would require some kind of communication and rhetoric class that would be pretty much mandatory within their liberal arts. So if you're going to Slippery or Gannon, Teal, Mercyhurst, you're going to have to take some kind of communication or speech class. They'll probably end up taking the credits. But I can't give you any kind of hint, wink, wink, pinky swear promise that those schools will accept it. But just based from past precedents, they seem to accept them more often than I'll give you a lot more information about it as we are getting closer to that time. But there'll be some online things that we fill out, and then we'll just kind of let me know. If you are taking any other CHS semester courses, I'm not even sure if there are many, like PropStat, is that a whole year? That's a semester. So let's say Emma's taking this and PropStat this semester. You could give all your information to either myself, Mrs. Stout, Mrs. Robleski. It's not that you have to have like 2 or 3 different sheets and handouts and all that kind of stuff going on. As that time gets closer, because really, Aiden, since you're asking about dates, around Valentine's Day, mid-February is when I would start collecting that stuff. We'll go into more detail about it then. All right. Your syllabus, I'm not going to run through this whole thing page by page. I think that kind of defeats the purpose and whatnot. A couple things we'll take a look at on the, really I guess it's the third piece of paper. GPA, the grades, all that kind of stuff, it's typical as it would be with any other class. I do total points for this class. I don't weight it based on assignments as I do in some other classes. So, Friday's going to be a 40-point assignment. It's not like that's going to be weighted differently compared to a midterm or anything like that. Since it is a CHS class, you get a 0.4 bump on your GPA. Rather than a 4.0, it would be a 4.4. Rather than a 3.7, it would be a 4.1. So it is nice that you get that little CHS bump. With it being third period, attendance really shouldn't be an issue so far as people coming in late. Make sure, though, you check in with me if you missed today. If you miss any time, the main place for you to go is going to be to Google Classroom. The setup for this, especially for folks who have me for AP, this one is a little bit different as the way that it's set up. Google Classroom kind of switched over to a new format this year. So they have the stream and then they have classwork. Most of what we'll do will be in the whole classwork setting. Stream just lists everything that I ever put up there. But if you go to the classwork area, it's broken up into a couple different categories for you. So at the top of the page in classwork, the very first thing for you to fill out would be your student information survey. Otherwise, things that we're taking a look at are going to be on here. So tomorrow we'll have our intro to rhetoric notes, but you also see reading assignments. So if you were missing something come Thursday night for the lottery, I have all the assignments right there for you. I have the reading, plus I also have the homework assignment that you'd be able to print out another copy and take care of. But so far as what did we do, yesterday when I missed class, expectation would be you'd be able to either check that out on the agendas where you would have an idea as to what we did, or take a look at the recorded lessons so that if you miss tomorrow with the notes or whatnot, you'd be able to get what you need. So most of those questions you would certainly be able to answer on here. At the very top of the page, I have the student information survey, I have a copy of a syllabus, I also have the information for Remind. I would say right now, take out phone, I would sign up for Remind. This one is a pretty easy one to do. I don't require that you sign up for Remind, but I think it does make your life a heck of a lot more easy. So you would be texting to 81010, and then the message would be at CHSARG, like CHS argumentation. And it's a good time for me to answer the phone. Mr. Kane. Hey. Sir. I haven't heard anything yet. Nope. Nope. And I can't do it on Friday either. Yeah. Sorry. Okay. Yeah, if anyone does, I'll let you know. But nothing yet. All right. Bye. You might have heard this in other classes, but if not, got a email yesterday. If you use Verizon, and you get your Remind text via like text message, they are going to end that on January the 28th, I think the date will be.
That's pretty
If you are Verizon, because Verizon is charging Remind for a text. So the way to get past that, and based on Emma's response, you are a Verizon wireless customer. If you download the app, you still get the reminds. And you can still kind of get it like as a notification, on your phone, but it won't show up as a text.
What about like past groups? Like I don't have the code anymore, so like how am I gonna like get into past groups?
You probably have to check with the teacher as to what the code is. I don't know if when you log on onto the app, if it magically will connect with your phone number. I don't know the answer to that, but I know in about 2 weeks, the little text messages will disappear. Now, if you're AT&T, Sprint, something like that, it's not going to be an issue. But Verizon's apparently charging some money. For phones. I told you to take out your phone, sign up for CHS argumentation, so obviously you don't have an issue with anything right now. However, if I notice that you have your phone out when we're trying to go over stuff, Aiden's checking his grade or whatnot, I'll be like, Aiden, put your phone away. Next time he has his phone away, it goes into the pocket of shame.
I like that. I was wondering what
Next time that your phone doesn't go into the that it goes into the pocket of shame, then I send in a little referral that Aiden wasn't putting his phone away. Now, if Aiden is OCD about being below 82% on his phone, and you want to put your phone over here on your own accord and charge it, I have no problem with that whatsoever. And I'm not forcing you to come over and put your phone into the pocket of shame. If you keep it away, no. If you keep it away, I don't have any kind of issue with it. But if Ben knows that, I have to stare at my phone, then go put it over there in the pocket of shame, and we won't call it the pocket of shame in that kind of instance. So,
Who gave you the charger?
my charger. No, I just moved it over from my desk. There you go. In case, again, you were below 82% and you felt the need to charge your device. Generally, when it comes to Remind, I try not to bug you too much, but like on Thursday, I would send you a reminder about don't forget you have homework assignment, reading check quiz, syllabus signature, that kind of stuff. So it'll come and go in spurts. I don't send out double secret assignments only through Remind that I would not otherwise tell you about in class. Why I would want all of you to sign up for Remind with this time of year would be things like 2-hour delays, so that if we have to change schedules, presentation schedules, speech schedules, things like that, I'm able to let you know about it, as soon as possible. With attendance that we were talking about, and I said make sure that you check, Google Classroom. The other reason that attendance is vital is a lot of the times other people depend on you being here. So if Byron and Emmy are doing a debate and Emmy's not here, that's now affecting Byron. That's also affecting Carrie and Zach because I'm going, well, instead of going tomorrow, you guys may as well go today. And now 3 people are upset at Emmy.
I'm always upset.
4 people are now upset at Emmy. So if you know you're not going to be here, make sure you let me know. But also, do your best, plan accordingly when we are selecting speech dates and things like that. If you know you have an orthodontist appointment or something along those lines, don't schedule ahead of time for that. The main type of assignments that are going to be going on is we do our weekly quizzes. You have some homework assignments. Obviously, we have speech assignments. Those speech assignments can range from next week's of being 10 points to the most points that we have is 125 points. That'll obviously be later on in the year. We do midterms. So we'll have midterm exam. We obviously have our final exam. Your final exam is traditionally a speech assignment that will take place, so you'll be better prepared for that. We do a couple writing assignments throughout the course of the year, generally where you are kind of analyzing some arguments, so there would be some writing that would certainly take place as well. This is an AP argumentation. You're not going to be writing essays upon essays upon essays. I have enough other classes that do that for me, but there certainly will be a variety of assignments that would be taking place. We have 17 folks in here, which is a decent size. It's great when it's even numbers because it makes it take one of you out. It'll be all right. But next, tomorrow when you come in, we'll start going over some instruction and get more into the actual kind of coursework. Then that would be something where we're not going to have like any kind of big debates going on, but if we're talking about no problems.